Gary Neville has joined us, and we've done a little bit of spacing. We're not really small, we're just actually a really long way away now from the camera.
Some are small over there.
Gary,
I'm in a hole.
let's get your perspective on your take on it from up there this afternoon.
I just thought Manchester City stopped playing after 15 minutes, and they were so quick in their possession. Tottenham couldn't live with them, and then obviously as soon as Manchester City slowed the game down, I think any team, particularly Tottenham, are a well-organised team. It gave them the opportunity to win the ball that more. It then got the counter-attack going, but Manchester City just couldn't get back to it. A little bit with De Bruyne at the end for 5 minutes, where they speeded it up a little bit, but they just stopped playing. Maybe that's fatigue or...
Well, do you have a theory of fatigue is one reason, but 15 minutes doesn't sound too long for that to kick in?
No. I think it was as if when Tottenham got that first attack, it just wounded them a little bit. And look, I was harsh on him during the game, but I always think that Ake's trying to build himself a career at Manchester City to start with. And if you've got Mendy outside you, I think you're really going to have a weak side of that defence. Every time Mendy plays in the left-hand side of that defence, they struggle. He gives you a chance on the ball. He got, I think, dispossessed twice down in this bottom corner, and all of a sudden the game swings. And it is on moments like that. So for me, 15 minutes in, the momentum of the game swung. Tottenham got a little bit more confident. They gained encouragement, I think, from the joy they got down this side of the pitch. And they couldn't get back into it. They couldn't get the rhythm back.
Well, we talked right at the start of today about who was going to win this league. Are you still asking Prince after one game?
They've lost one game and you're already ruling them out of the title race.
No, I'm not. I'm asking you.
They're finished.
Finished. Behave yourself. United have won one game and look at him, he's happy. You're supposed to be doing coke. What are you doing down here?
I just come down because you lost.
He couldn't wait to get down after the full-time result.
On a more serious note, it's a bad result, but it happens too often with City. We're saying the same things. We're seeing the same things occur. In that midfield, they play so well, they play excellent football, free-flowing, so many good names. But you can get at them on a counter-attack, and they need to sort that out. They really do. Disappointing first game, but you've seen City last season. They started bad.
We have to be very careful, don't we? We saw them lose 5-2 at home to Leicester.
Exactly, and I lost my head that day.
Dave, just one thing to make on City on the counter-attack, and I think for England in the summer, Kyle Walker's probably the best defender in the last 10, 15 years at stopping counter-attacks. He gets back every single time. He wasn't playing today, so when he comes back in, you know, Rodri could come back into midfield. Obviously, De Bruyne comes in. They'll be okay, obviously. They'll be brilliant. But Kyle Walker, they missed him badly today in terms of the counter-attack, because that would have allowed Cancelo to go left-back, and then there would have been a different game, I think.
We looked as well at the tough fixtures that they've got to start this season. Can they afford a slow start when it looks like there is much more about Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool perhaps back to strength as well?
No, I've got no doubts about City. I think, to be fair, for 15 minutes today it was breathtaking, and they could have easily gone 1 or 2 goals up. So no, I'm not overly worried about the longer term, and they will, well, they'll probably win the title. And if they do get Harry Kane, I've said, to be honest, it's a pretty sure thing, I would say, because once they get the goal up front, which is what they were missing today, then they'll be fine. And they get Kyle Walker back in. You know, the defence will strengthen when Stones comes back in. They've got so many players to come back in, it's untrue.
The problem with the other teams, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man U, will be stronger this season. And I think last season they had a bad start. They came back round after Christmas. And I just don't know if they lose another couple in the next, 5-6 games, it's just...
No.
You know?
I come back to it. They need a striker for me. They got away with it last year. And the fact he's bid all that money for Harry Kane would suggest he sees it that way as well. City have won 3 leagues in the last 4 years. They've showed resilience. It's not all gone well from start to finish in those leagues they've won. You know, the team that wins the league are the teams that can deal with the downturn, the teams that can deal with disappointment, the teams that can deal with injuries. They've got a great squad. They have got great belief. This is a punch on the nose. This is like going out for the first round in a fight, someone putting you down, you pick yourself up. That is what City are about. But I come back to it. I feel last year they scored, I've said it already, 19 goals fewer last year and the year before. And I still think they need, I'm not talking about focal point, but someone who's going to get them 20 plus goals a season. When you're relying on Gundogan, your midfield players, to be your top goal scorers, I think you're on a bit of a wing and a prayer.
Harry Kane is the big talking point, of course. Michael, you heard what the Spurs fans were singing at the end there. Are you watching Harry Kane? And apparently he was somewhere. I'm sure he was somewhere. 17 days left in the transfer window. Where do you think this story goes next?
Well, it's been grumbling for a long time. And it was no surprise that he wasn't involved today. He's been back training 3 or 4 days. He's been in isolation since he's come back. And I think in Man City's defence as well, they have been not training as long as probably some of the Spurs players. So that can take that. The Spurs fans are saying that when we see Harry Kane back in a Spurs shirt, they will be singing. They will love him. They love him. He is an absolute legend of this football club. And I still believe he'll be here because he's got 3 years left. And the price it's going to cost if Man City are to buy him, it's ridiculous. It's extraordinary. They paid £100 million for Jack Grealish. If you are going to get Harry Kane, it's going to be 160 million in my opinion. Daniel Levy's come out and said he doesn't want to sell him. He's got 3 years left. I hope he stays as a Spurs player, of course, because he's... we heard Nuno say, he's one of the best strikers in the world. He's incredible. And you're always going to have speculation, but with 3 years left, Spurs don't have to do anything.
How do you read that situation, Gary, now?
I think Michael will be closer to it than I am, but I just read into the fact that if he wasn't involved today, every other England player that's been part of the Euros, I believe, has been involved this weekend, either on the bench or in the squad. Harry Kane would be here today, I feel, if there was no doubt over his future. I took into it that he's gone. I did. I just felt him not being here today, not being visible in the stadium. You know, a prominent player, the most prominent Tottenham player, first game of the season, not visible in this stadium. You know, we have a lot of cameras around him, and I suspect we were looking for him everywhere. And to not see him here today, I think, was a surprise.
But knowing how Daniel Levy operates, would he sanction the sale of Harry Kane if he didn't already have a ready-made replacement, do you think?
Probably not. He'll probably have something happening this week, but there are no Premier League games this week, and there is 5 or 6 days now to do something. I do believe that to me told me he was gone today with him not being on the bench. Might be completely wrong. In 2 weeks' time, he might be here, and I'll be delighted to come and watch him for Tottenham. But every other England player has been involved. You know, Sancho's on the bench yesterday, Calvin Phillips is on the bench. They've all had very limited time of training, but at the very least they've been on the bench, and Harry Kane ordinarily would be.
Not how the game works.
Sorry there, Dave. Not as what Harry's been 2 or 3 days. Yeah, he came back late for whatever reason, and then he was in self-isolation. He's probably been back with the team 2 days.
I think he joined in Friday.
I know, but Michael, Harry Kane, he comes back late, he's in isolation, he's not here today. If you put all that together, this is, you know, he's the most professional player that you'll ever see. So something's going on.
He will be fitter than some of the lads, I'm sure, because he is.
You called him a saint, didn't you? Harry Kane.
Well, if you said about Harry Kane's career today, up until 3 weeks ago, you'd say he's been an absolute angel of a professional. You've never seen him in trouble, you've never seen him put a foot wrong on the pitch. He's performed consistently year in, year out. No one ever says a bad word about him, you can't. So something's happened.
But knowing the sort of the mindset of top players, Graeme, if we get to the end of the window and he is still here, he's still going to be loved by these fans. He's still going to perform for this club.
Yes, everyone's in a difficult position here, because imagine a scenario if there is some sort of deal being done with City, and Daniel Levy picks the phone up to speak to someone about their centre forward. They can't go and replace him with a £10 million centre forward. It has to be a proper player, otherwise this brand new stadium will get torn down. So he has to go and spend big money. But the minute he picks the phone up, he's going to pay a premium on a premium. Premier League clubs pay a premium because of the dossier, and then the selling club will know he's going to get 100 plus for Harry. So they're in an impossible situation. On the other side of things, if Harry Kane, you've got to remember, he's the captain of England. He can't stay here next year and go through the motions. That just isn't on. So it's you know, who's going to play hardball? Who's going to blink first? But Daniel Levy will be thinking, if he doesn't perform this year, when we come to sell him next year, if he gives him another year and they try to sell him next year, it's near 50 million and 150 as it is today if he doesn't perform next year.